One of the interesting things I want to show you that is not in the book, but I think is important to know how to do, and that is pinning something to the desktop. Now, when it comes to pinning things, we have the capability of pinning them here to the Start menu. We have the capability of pinning them down here to the taskbar, but there's nothing that gives us an option to pin them to the desktop. In order to do this, I'm going to use Powershell as an example. By the way, I do have a Powershell down here pinned to the taskbar. If I click it, you'll see that Powershell opens just like that, real easy. But I don't have, if I try to drag it out here, that doesn't work. It won't let me drag it out there. So how in the world do I get it on the desktop? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and open the Start menu here and go down to Powershell, Windows PowerShell, Windows PowerShell right here, and I'm going to click that. Now I've got 4 of these nets because they're 4 slightly different applications. That's a whole nother topic I'm not going to dive into right now. And if I right click this, you notice I can pin it to the Start. That would put it here in the tiles. I can pin it to the taskbar, which it already is, so I can unpin it from the taskbar right now if I wanted to get it off of here. But there's nothing here to pin it to the desktop. How would I do that? Now this is where the trick comes in. Rather than pinning to something, what I'm going to do is go down here to Open File Location. And what it's going to do is open the actual shortcuts that thing opens if I were to click it and start Windows PowerShell. So this is the one that I want to pin to the desktop. So before I even do that, I'm going to do something else that's interesting. I want this to always run as an administrator. So I'm going to right click on this and go down to Properties and then Advanced and click Run as Administrator like that and click OK. And now I will click this guy and say Send to Desktop, Create Shortcut. Bingo, there it is on my desktop. And by the way, if we were to run this, you'll notice that yes, it starts up the user account control, and that's because it's going to run as an administrator. So I can type any administrative commands in here as well as regular commands in here if I want to. Interestingly, this one down here, when I created this shortcut or pinned this to the taskbar, it was not set up to run as an administrator. If I double click it, there it goes. It took a little while to get started. You'll see it is not running as administrator here. So I double clicked it twice, and now it's going to try to start 2 of them. That's interesting because it was running a little bit slow, so I did it twice. So this one is not running as an administrator, but this one is running as an administrator. So these are actually 2 different, very different buttons, as you can see, and they're pulling 2 very different kinds of things, even though they are both Windows PowerShell. All right, well, that's it for how we get things on the desktop. We don't do it from this menu here. We can do it from elsewhere in our file system.